So it is 3 o'clock. I almost said 5 o'clock. And so I think we should go ahead and get started. I want to let everybody know we are in for a treat today. We have with us Heidi Brislin. She's an occupational therapist, an AT specialist, and runs a really fantastic YouTube site. And I'm just so confident that we're all going to leave today with some fresh ideas and some good to go strategies in our tool belt come tomorrow morning. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Heidi. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. For whatever reason, my AirPods are being goofy. So hopefully that will get you over into my AirPods now. All right, well, today we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to me. Oh, we have someone from Pennsylvania here, yay. And that is just switch activities and creating fun switch activities. And this has been a journey for me, and I will share some of my journey. We've got a large group. So if you want to pop your questions in the chat, and if I can answer them as I'm going, we'll do that. And if we need to take some time at the end to answer questions, I'm happy to do that as well. So let's dive in here and get started. And we did this already, but if you haven't put your role in the chat, go ahead and pop that in there. And then I think this was sent out, but there's the bit.ly for the slide deck. And the other thing that I have created, just because I think that it just makes it so much easier sometimes, is just to have something that you can save right in your Google Doc. That is a Google Doc in your Google Drive, that is a Google document, and it's just a outline list of switch activities. Some are linked to YouTube videos. Some are not linked to YouTube videos. Eventually we'll get more and more of them. But I think for me, and kind of how I think it's nice to be like, okay, we have a spinner. What are some things I can use the spinner for? And to be able to go to a list and have that right away, and not have to kind of dream up something on my own to kind of come up with. So hopefully you find that as helpful as I find it. And so that, and if you just kind of keep it, we're updating it regularly. So it usually gets updated regularly. A little bit about me. I am an occupational therapist by training. I work as the assistive technology specialist in the Edmonds School District in Edmonds, Washington, which is just north of Seattle. And I also work 1 day a week for the Washington State Special Ed Tech Center, which is similar to your organization in Washington. And then I do have a very small private practice where I do some power mobility assessments and some alternative access assessments. So I live in the Pacific Northwest, and here are my people. So I enjoy, exploring the Pacific Northwest with my family. And now I'm an empty nester because my daughter is a sophomore at Rider University in New Jersey, and our son is a deputy assistant to one of the representatives in DC. So they are both on the East Coast. And so my husband and I and our 2 silly dogs spends a lot of time exploring. And probably the thing I'm most passionate about is making dreams come true for children and adults with complex bodies, kind of making the impossible possible. So that's kind of my why and kind of where I come from. So I was born and raised in New Mexico. I went to Adams State College my freshman year in Alamosa. So I have some ties to Colorado. So when I was asked to speak here, it was near and dear to my heart to be able to share some information with you all. All right, the learning outcomes. Basically, when we're done, I want you to have at least one switch accessible activity that you can use in gen ed or art or music classes. Using, there's an app called GoTalk Now Lite, and it's free. The full version is about $100, I believe, and just some activities you can do right in the Lite version. You get 5 full pages in the Lite version, so we will talk about that. And 3 ways to use the Power Link to create some really fun activities. And so I always tell people that if I could only have 2 things in my switch kit, it would be a power link, or the one by Inclusive Technologies is an iClick, and a proximity switch. And I could plug in anything and do all sorts of crazy fun things. So let's get started. And if you are hoping to learn about types of switches and types of interfaces, we're not going to talk about that today, but here is a link to a slide deck that I did for the Special Ed Tech Center that goes through that. And at the end, I'll share a link with the Special Ed Tech Center's website and free webinars, and you can check out their YouTube channel, because I believe this is one that was recorded as well. So let's talk about play. You know, for all kids, play. So yes, you'll be able to download the PowerPoint and handouts. It should be, if someone can just share the link in the chat. I know it was emailed out to everybody participating, Lori. So, so play is essential for skill development for all kids. So children without disabilities have access to toys that have buttons and switches to operate. They have all sorts of kind of crazy things. So, you know, that's a thing that our typically developing children have. And by playing with those things, they develop critical skills that are necessary as prerequisites to kind of get them to be able to, you know, have that pre-reading ability and pre-writing and fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Toys with our typically developing peers are used during individual and small group play, and they promote the development of cognitive, motor, social, play skills, pre-academic. So, you know, our kids with disabilities, it's really no different for them. So they need to have access to toys that are accessible to them in order to develop those same critical skills. So switch toys or switch activities allow children with disabilities multiple opportunities to engage socially, physically, cognitively with their family, peers, providers, and their environment. And that is so important to be able to start to give them some control. And it really, learning and refining and developing switch access skills opens a world of possibilities for children with physical, communication, and or sensory disabilities. So it's gonna, you know, it's a game changer, and it's definitely worth the time spent working on it. So the other thing you need to know is that it's a lot of hard work. You know, learning to switch skills is really, really hard for these kids. So they have to have extensive repeated practice to refine those skills. It's got to happen across all environments. It needs to be engaging and varied with immediate feedback. And so I know I am guilty of the one switch toy that you have for several months, and that's the only thing you're practicing your switch skills on. You know, and you wonder why, oh, they just aren't interested in switch skills. Well, when the walking pig has walked and not done anything else very exciting, you know, it kind of gets boring to use the same toy all the time. And you need to embed it throughout the day. So they're also working on learning so many skills. So they're learning to use their access method, and that method may change depending on the time of the day, depending on how they're feeling. And so, you know, having as many access methods as possible that you can kind of start to explore and play with really helps for them to have better long-term switch skills. Even if you just have one, that's, you know, working on refining that one is great. They're working on developing motor automaticity. So if your switch skill, you know, if your switch access is, you know, your head, let's say, every time you do that, you know, you take that neuron and you develop it from like a piece of dental floss to eventually like a rope. So you're working on developing those neural pathways. They're also juggling social and cognitive components, and they're making choices. And the other thing I don't have in here is they are also juggling all of us chatting and cheering them on in the background, which is really great. But I had one little guy that kind of was an aha moment for me. we were working on driving a power wheelchair with head switches, and I'd see him start to raise his head, and then the para or the helper, whoever was helping me, the para, the PT, the OT, sometimes it was me, would start cheering him on, and he would lose his entire motor plan and his head would go down. And so finally I said, just let's not say anything, I'm going to count. And so his response time was 50 seconds. And every time someone said something, he would have to start that over. And so remembering that wait time, and sometimes it's 5 seconds, sometimes it's 10, which feels like an eternity. And sometimes it's 50 seconds, which feels like a lifetime. But that wait time is just so respectful to the students that, we know you can do this, and we're going to just give you the time to put that motor plan together. So I think wait time is very hard to do, but it's very respectful of our students. So getting started. So you need to start with the end in mind. Why are you teaching switch skills? What's the purpose? Where are you hoping they'll be 5 years from now? And I think as an OT in the schools, I always kind of came in with my 5-year plan, which is a little different than some of our teachers who are on okay, this is what we have to accomplish this year. And, laying that foundation that this is going to take a long time to develop these skills. And as they grow and change, these skills might change, but this is what I want them to be able to do in the end. So this is what we're going to start with. So you can pop in the chat if you want, if you have any thoughts about things that you might want, what might be your end. So again, why are you teaching them in the first place? Is it just to have them have a toy to play with? We've got access to communication devices. So, I think it's really important.
Put in my King Super's number.
I think we've got some great things, communication, so they can make choices, less dependency on others, computer access, yes, those are all really, reading and writing. So those are all really great things. Independence, good job. These are just excellent. So let's go through with some reasons that maybe you're why. Let's see if we came up with them all, or if there's some new things that you haven't thought about. Maybe we're going to do this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to say the most important why is human connection. And I am quoting my friend Brenda Robinson Del Monte, just is a speech language pathologist in Arizona, and she also works for the Special Ed Tech Center, and she just published her first book, and it's I See You in There is what it's titled. And it is an excellent book. It is like sitting in the room having a conversation with her, and she talks about human connection being a medical necessity. And so I think when you're looking at these switch skills, you're really teaching, if they're going to use their AAC device, have increased independence, have some leisure activities that they might be doing with other people, you're teaching them a skill that is going to give them human connection. Age respectful play and leisure activities. So we had that on there, being able to use their communication devices. The computer, you're going to teach them computer skills. They're going to be able to control the mouse with their switches, or use a cursor to find their place on the computer screen if you're doing that type of point scanning. So, it's going to give them computer access. Power mobility. It's going to help them get the skills to be able to be an independent mover, be able to move their body independently in space. Huge. Another thing I'm very, very passionate about, but we won't go there today because I could talk the whole time on that. Being able to access their phone. So being able to text someone, access their social media, make a phone call, let mom or dad know where they are, that they need some help, or their battery died, or to their chair or something. So again, we talked about social media. If you've got some high school kids, big motivator for switch skills, scanning through TikTok or being able to scan through Instagram. So shopping on Amazon, all those really fun things. Academics, being able to access and show what they know, which may not be the funnest thing to do, but that's certainly kind of what we're hoping for. Being able to control their environment, to be able to operate different environmental controls, whether we have them paired with their communication device or paired with some type of home function with their switch access in their phone or tablet or computer. And vocational skills. This is going to allow a lot of these young people to be able to find jobs that that they can access remotely. And then they can advocate for themselves. That's again so important. If we're using this for your AAC, or for your AAC, you can advocate for yourself during your medical care. You can advocate for yourself in a work situation, in a social situation. So, very, very important skills that need to be your why. And so when you're thinking about your why am I doing this, this is why you're doing it. You're starting today for what they're going to be able to do tomorrow. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time going through these, but I wanted to put them in as a resource for you. And this is an area that I'm currently doing some of my own, professional development work on is, there's one thing to give someone a switch and work on this skill, but like, how do we progress them? And is there a way out there that's evidence-based that we can progress them through switch skills? So the answer to that is yes. And there are a couple of different educators that have put out some really great information. The hyperlink goes right to what explains the levels. There is Linda Burkhart, and she is just an amazing, if you ever have the opportunity to hear Linda speak, she does a lot of trainings on the communication system called POD, Pragmatic, Organized, Dynamic Display. She does a lot of some training on switch skills, but so this is kind of a way to kind of when you start your switch skills and definitely looking at using it for like IEP goals is you can say, okay, they're at the single switch level at cause and effect. And so by the end of the year, I'd like for them to be able to use two different switches with two different functions, and so it kind of helps you start planning out the steps that you need to go through to get to our why. So Linda has one, very well done. I recommend looking through that. The other one is Ian Bean, and he is out of the UK, and his steps are slightly different from Linda's, but when you read in depth and look at them, they're not significantly different. So again, that links to this right here, links to the descriptions of what each of these look like. So those are, just some great resources for you to kind of start looking at how can I document this in my evaluation and how can I document their present level in the IEP and come up with a meaningful switch goal for the students. So does that make sense there? All right, so now I love this quote and this fact, I guess, that scientists have recently determined that it takes approximately 400 repetitions to create a new synapse in the brain. Unless it's done with play, it takes between 10 and 20 repetitions. Now I'm going to say our switch users, it's still going to take probably close to 400 repetitions regularly to build that synapse, because they're dealing with a body that just does not cooperate. And so they have to learn how to control their body. But lots of repetitions, but it happens quicker with play. So when you look at starting switch skills, you want to make it like crazy fun. So those are some just some things to think about. And I love that Andrea shared that AbleNet University has a free 3-parted recorded webinar from Linda Burkhart. So that is excellent. Ian Bean, also, if you Google him, he has a whole website with some continuing education that's very inexpensive. In the UK, I think I pay, it's in pounds, so I can't tell you, I think I probably paid $25 for a subscription that I can watch as many sessions as I want. So another great resource there. So we've already talked about our why, and that teaching switch access gives our children power. So how are we going to create the opportunities to practice 200 to 400 times a day? And that feels daunting. I have a team right now that we're working on, and I'm like, okay, 200 times a day. It's going to be way easier than you think. So if you embed it across environments and you have it with a variety of things, it's pretty easy to do. So let's spend some time talking about some activities. So say what? You can do that with a switch. So you're going to learn some things today, I hope, that you haven't thought about that you can do with a switch. And we will go from there. So again, if you joined kind of after I got started, the link, this link will take you to our fun, engaging switch activity page that I've been developing. That just has, it's a Google Doc with just a list of switch activities. Some of them are linked to a YouTube video, some of them aren't, but we're going to gradually work on trying to grow that so that you don't have to, come up with something on your own. So when you are working on getting those 200 to 400 switch activations a day, don't forget about your voice output switches, because here's where you're probably going to get 100 of them. So a couple things, there's like the little Mac or the Big Mac, which is a little bit bigger than this one, that has one message. And then each size of those have switches that you can purchase that are step-by-step that can allow you to record up to five different things that it'll play in succession. And I think Inclusive Technologies has one, and I don't remember what the name of the switch is, but it will do all sorts of crazy things. You can do conversations and different things. All of these switches, if you're using some type of alternative access, so say you're using, head or a proximity switch to activate the switch, you can plug it right into this voice output switch. So you don't have to worry about mounting that. You just have to get the switch mounted where you, the switch that they're using the most consistently mounted where they're going to use it. And then they can say things with this. So things like have it be your comment. So they can say things like, that's awesome. I like that. Let's do it again. If you're using like an alternative pencil to do some partner assisted scanning for writing, or if you are doing partner assisted scanning with an AAC system, you can have the switch be like, that's the one, or that's it, and so every time they get to the one, so that is they get to practice that every single time. A repeated line in a book or a song. The one that came to my mind that lived in my head all the time when my children were little was, chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room? And so if you're singing that song or reading the book, you're going to get multiple switch activations just going through that book, or any story that has some repeated lines. So those are our songs as well. Like 5 little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. So you could do the over the, Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. So you could pick like quack, quack, quack. And they could activate the switch every time for that. So again, those are some really great ways to get that. Starting the Pledge of Allegiance. When you're reading, having them tell you to turn the page, and it may be before you're ready to turn the page, but if they hit turn the page, you think about it developmentally. When we look at children looking at books, they flip through the pages. They don't necessarily stay on one page until you've read the whole thing. So, you could be like two words into the page and they tell you to turn the page. Honor that as, that's what you meant. I'm going to turn the page. Recording on a step-by-step, ready, set, go. So 3 activations, and you could do that for activities in PE, recess games, classroom activities when it's time to break up into centers or go to the rug. That could be something they could do for that. Using a step-by-step to tell jokes. Interviewing and conducting research. So say There's a research question that you're going to be doing some some writing about, and they could go out and say, hey, I have a question for you. Can you help me with some research? What is your favorite season? You know, they could answer it. That's really cool. Thank you. You know, so there you go. Each interview, if you go around the school and interview people, there's 5 switch activations right there. Interview 10 people, you've got 50. You know, you're a quarter of a way to your 200 there. Playing musical instruments. I had a young gal in she was a 6th grader at the time, and we had 2 little Macs and recorded a cymbal and a bass drum. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to, and she was in 6th grade band. And so it was beautiful because she's figuring out her instrument and they're figuring out their instruments. But what my advice on this is that you want to, the best way to record the instruments is to be in your car and use GarageBand and play it over your car sound system. And then it is, you know, really great. And I would recommend something like a percussion instrument, because then it's easy to kind of blend in if you have an accidental hit. But, you know, definitely, like by the end, my student was like, you could see her body keeping the beat, and she'd hit the cymbal when she was supposed to. They did try at some point to record actual band instruments, and those are really pretty horrible sounding when they come off of a step-by-step. So definitely GarageBand is your friend here. And even playing parts of their favorite song, or if you have a short book, putting pages of the book and they can read the book themselves. So those are some voice output ideas. If you have any others, put them in the chat, because I love to kind of use this session to learn from all of you experts, because you guys are experts as well, and then I can share them on the page. So feel free to put anything in the chat that you think you might use a step-by-step switch for. Smart home device control, excellent. Let me give you guys a second for that. Okay, while you're thinking, hey Alexa, what's the weather? Perfect. You can have, hey Alexa, tell me oh shoot, mine is gonna start here. Alexa, turn off. There we go. Counting, good. Yeah, lots of great, you know, even like counting down, you know. There are tons of those smart speaker things. Oh heavens, hold on, I'm gonna unplug mine. All right, we won't have her interrupting us anymore. Sequencer for bingo calling, awesome. Just keep putting them in there, and I'll add them to the Google Doc that we've got. So quick, who has used a power link? I mean, who does everyone? I'm guessing there's some people who do not know what a power link does. So is that anybody have any experience using a power link? Okay, so we've got some no experience. We've got some, ours is way older than that. I found some that are like even older than, probably longer than I've been practicing in our AT closet. So I have got a short little video that we're gonna, there's a brown one before the blue ones. I had never seen the brown one until I started my new job, and it was like, holy moly, this thing is like archaic. Oops, let's see, let's go back. All right, so I've got a short video that kind of explains how the power link works. And so I'm going to go ahead and play the video for you guys so you kind of understand what we're talking about. And we can go from there.
Net. If you're not familiar with a power link is a tool that allows you to make any device that plugs into an outlet, switch accessible. So it has like these outlets. So what you would do is you would plug your device in there and then turn it on, and then plug the power link on, and then the switch will determine if it's on or not. So there's different things. There's the mode bar, which moves you through direct, latch, time. This increases and decreases the time. And this tells you which switch is being activated. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to plug it in. And you can see it lights up kind of everywhere. And so right now the settings on it are set to where it is the right switch, which the switch port is right here. And it is set timed for 10 minutes. So if you want to change that, you could click the mode. And if you want to do 2 switch, that would be switch number 2. If you wanted to do a count, it would do, I believe, a countdown. We're going to go to this 1 switch mode for the moment. So here you have direct, which means I'm going to hit the switch, and that means it's going to activate the device as long as I hit it. Latch, mode. Latch right here means that it's going to start the device when I touch the switch, and when I touch the switch again, it's going to stop the device. So this is good for things like popcorn poppers or things you want to go for a while. The next one is timed seconds, and that is basically what it sounds like, how many seconds the device will run. So you could use that for a variety of things. So we were creaming sugar and butter yesterday and set it for 20 seconds. So then it turned off, and then it was ready to move to the next step of baking. So that is basically how it works. So I can plug 1 switch here if I just want to do a 1 switch activity.
Okay, so that is how to use the power link. So any questions before I move into some different things? So the power link, you can make anything that has a plug, that has like a plug and an on and off switch, magical. So it is just being as like creative as you want to be. So we're going to kind of run through some different things. There are videos linked to all of these. We're not going to watch all of these videos, but so if you want to kind of see, yeah, it's like an updated version of the environmental control units, Jackie. Yeah. So you can plug a light in, they can turn the light on and off, a variety of things. So some of the things I was kind of doing here. So this was when we were totally remote last year and trying to come up with just some, some activities that some of my students could try. And so looking at for like science, activities. So doing some, predicting, measuring, a variety of things. So I had both the fan and the blow dryer hooked into my power link, and we tried little pom-pom balls and seeing which one would blow it the furthest, feathers, which one would blow those the furthest, my little wiggly jiggly guy down here, which one would make him wiggle the longest, so you could do some timing. And so there's some really it's just a blow dryer you can do tons of stuff with, so, and a fan. So I think a lot of times I'll have teams be like, oh, we want a fan because when they're hot, I want them to be able to cool off. And so think of like that's great, but let's think of some other functional and fun kind of crazy things, like when the feathers blow all over the place. That is pretty fun and crazy. Also, I'm going to show you this next video that my friend Brenda and her partner Melanie did with the fan and blow dryer, which I thought was just genius, and they were kind enough to share it with me. But we'll get to that here in a minute because that's down under sports, so it's not right here. Couple of things. So here, this one right here is just go to the dollar store and just kind of be as creative and as imaginative as you can. So these are just banners. And if you've got someone who has like a student who has a vision impairment and they like to see just some gentle kind of moving for a calm and sensory experience, you can hang the banners up and the fan will just make those go. This one, I'll share this one.
Say we're going to do it 5 seconds because we want.
So this is one of those outdoor little
skills and
projector things around the
repeated,
holidays, and they have
access.
different
So,
things you can put in for almost any
I'm
holiday.
Turn on. And it'll be on for 5 seconds. So you can adjust that to whatever works best for your student. You could also switch it to the direct mode, and that would mean as long as I'm holding down, the shapes would go through. Pair that with some fun holiday music for whatever holiday you're celebrating, and that is going to be a really fun activity.
All right. And then this is my other favorite thing is the glitter lava lamp. So the thing I like about the glitter lava lamp versus like a regular lava lamp is the glitter, something starts happening immediately. So here is this one.
Meet Glowforge, the 3D laser printer.
Today.
Create with wood, fabric, cardboard.
That when I activate the switch and make the glitter go, as soon as I release, it stops. So that might be for kids you're working on, like just that sustained pressure, so that they can, activate the switch and hold it. Remember, you're never saying hit the switch. You're saying things like, let's see the glitter.
So with this one, some things you could work on is like color recognition. You could work on, we're going to hold it until we get to the purple and then we're going to let go. Just some kind of fun, different kind of things. So I got that at Home Depot. It was like, I don't know, under $20. So Janice said that she got a switch adapted pottery wheel on clearance from Walmart. Oh my word. I need to, I'm going to have to go look for one of those. And you can use your power link with wireless switches as well. Okay, now when I presented this at Closing the Gap in October, and one of the things that one of the participants shared with me to use a power link for was the inflatable yard decorations. And so we have a lot of buy nothing groups out here on Facebook where you can request things. And so I requested a small inflatable like new yard decoration, and I got one. And so what we did here is I took this to the classroom, and the little boy kind of sitting behind here, he and I, the reason the whole box isn't wrapped is he and I started wrapping it with the switch adapted scissors. And then it was time to, get the activity out. But look at this. So when the whole box is wrapped, it is really, really fun. But the inflatable yard decoration is plugged into the power link, and I have it set on a timer. So I figured out the amount of time it takes for it to pop out of the box and inflate. So here is that.
The box is opening. Oh my goodness. It does wear a hat. Yeah, it's a hat. Now we're gonna wait a second. Hold on, when it stops.
All right, now how fun is that?
The box is opening.
Okay. So Brenda asked how the wireless switch works. It connects via Bluetooth. And Melanie, if you want to, I have not messed with my power link, honestly, with a wireless switch. So if you have more information and want to pop that in the chat, is another one. And so anyway, so much fun. So this next one I call is we all need some razzle dazzle. more accessible fun. And I'm going to share this with you just because it's like wild and crazy. And I think for kids to learn these things, it needs to be a little bit wild and crazy.
We are going to use our blow dryer to spread a little bit of confetti. So I have my bag full of confetti, and I happen to know that on Broadway they call this razzle dazzle, and who does not want to be the razzle dazzle spreader for all of the great celebrations that happen in life. So I've got my blow dryer with my little attachment on. I'm going to put my razzle dazzle in there. I have it on low. You certainly could put it on high. If you're outside, you could use like biodegradable little confetti, or the kids could cut up biodegradable paper and make it into confetti. So first thing I need to do is turn my power link on. Now I learned the hard way that if you're trying to fill your hair dryer with your razzle dazzle and you are too close to the switch and you accidentally hit the switch, confetti goes everywhere. So here we go. I've got it on direct, so it just goes as long as I hit the switch. So I'm ready to make some razzle dazzle. Isn't that fun?
All right. So the other thing about doing the razzle dazzle is for your other students who are not switch users going around and doing those fine motor activities. Super, a great fine motor skill to pick it up and refill the blow dryer for the razzle dazzle. So just kind of fun. More fun with the power link. There's some videos on the YouTube channel and linked here about you can use it use it with the blender to do smoothies or puddings, or we have one student who she puts her meals in there and blends them up, and then they put them in her feeding tube. You can use a hand mixer, a popcorn maker. I don't know if any of you know what a salad shooter is. If not, you should Google it. Or on the Google Doc with the activities, there's places to buy things. And so you can see, but it is probably the best wedding gift I ever received. And it's basically, you can put like a cucumber or carrot in it and push it through, and it either grades it or slices it and stuff. And so your switch user could be activating that and being able to cut some vegetables in a cutter, shred some vegetables in a safe way. Use it as with an ice cream maker, a toaster, a can opener, a cotton candy maker, a juicer. The kitchen appliances are just, endless that you can use the power link with. Looking at sports and recreation and even chore fun. I'm going to show you this video. This is power using an electric leaf blower. They're about $20, $25 on Amazon. And you can do tons of fun things with this. But so this is leaf blower bowling. And again, we were during the pandemic, and we're still during the pandemic, but early on, and I was in my house trying to do this. But typically what we'll do is we'll put it in a milk crate and kind of put it through the hole in the milk, the handle in the milk crate, and then weight it down, because you'll see as you watch the video that I had to do some adapting kind of midway through. But here we go.
This is by far one of the most fun.
Get to where we're going here.
I'm sorry, not at Home Depot, on Amazon on direct. So again, remember the leaf blower will operate as long as we hold the switch down. And this is leaf blower bowling. So you ready? I'm gonna push the switch.
All right, so you can see I had to adapt with my little coffee table there. You can do the same thing with little bowling pins you find at the dollar store on keychains, with your blow dryer. Someone had mentioned, so we got, someone had mentioned, oh, hold on, sorry, clicked forward. Twinkle lights. So this is another version of twinkle lights around the TV. In Seattle, most of our teams are blue and green, some semblance of that color. And you could certainly put those around the TV. And if there was a goal scored or a touchdown or something your switch user could, or a good play, the switch user could activate the lights to do kind of that celebration and be the one to kind of notify everyone that something exciting happened in the game. So they can all be part of that game. Let's see, I've got a couple questions in the chat. Let me look. You know, I would contact AbleNet about a program to swap out the power links. I think at one point they did. I'm not sure that they do. The videos are on the front of the slide deck. The first part of the slide deck has my YouTube channel. The videos are there. And they're linked to the presentation as well. But here are some other things that you can do with a leaf blower. You could do, like, you know, obviously softball, croquet, yard or deck cleaning, kickball, a scarf chase, stuff it full of scarves and chase the scarves everywhere, play fetch, blow it in people. You know, you could safely blow it at people and have their hair fly funny and take silly pictures. Someone at one of the at Closing the Gap, who obviously lives where it snows more than where I do, was like snow fights, a leaf blowing obstacle course, golf. So lots and lots of things you can do with that. All right, and this is my friend Brenda and Melanie, and this is so much fun. They are doing penguin bobsledding. So they're doing an Olympic unit right now, Winter Olympics, with all their kids. So check this out.
Okay, on your mark. No cheating. Get set. Go. Come on, Houston. Go, 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 go. Oh no, she's gonna beat us. Come on. Get that hand up. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh
So that was like super fun. So like I said, it's creative as you can come up with things. Other fun things to do with your power link is get relighting candles and blow them out with a fan or a blow dryer. Water plants with a water pick. Use a drill to help with home projects or build something together. Use a sewing machine to sew together. Partner vacuuming. A hair dryer after bath time, or to play beauty parlor, put on like crazy wigs and style the hair. Turn on and off the lights, play red light, green light, or hide in the dark. And then there are directions here. I have not made one yet, but this is in my on my wish list, is a giant spin art that you're either using a fan or a drill, and you can make a gigantic spin art that you can run with your power link. Okay, deep breath, everybody. Any questions about the power link? Because we are going to move on to some other things here. Okay, so the GoTalk Now Lite app is basically, again, it's free. You get 5 pages, and it allows you to kind of make whatever you want on the pages. So typically we've made simple like scenes or simple communication devices. I use it for switch skills. So there's a video here, it's about 12 minutes long. I'm not going to play that, but it talks about how to add a video to GoTalk Now. So one of the things that I found is, like, if I just linked it right to a YouTube video, it was requiring the switch user to do an additional hit to play the video. And if they're working on their scanning skills, when they get there, I want like the magic to happen. And so you can screen record on your iPad and save it into your photos. So your YouTube video, your Storytime online book, any of the animated shorts that are just kind of really fun and a great way to model AAC. You can put them and then upload them in the video, and they will play right away, and the student does not get lost in YouTube land. So the link there basically shows you how to make fun switch accessible boards. You can do, and the nice thing about GoTalk Now is you can progress it from, if you just have, you think we can just scan 2 items to 4 to many, many more. So it's a couple fun things I created with oh heavens. Okay, so there are several toys that work with voice control. And what I've done is I've made GoTalk pages for them. So here's my friend Carl. Let's see if we can get you.
Who is a dancing robot, and he is super cool. So the commands that Carl will do include these. And so you can say to him things like, hello, and he will respond to all of these. So here is a video of Carl responding to the different voice commands.
Hello.
You are so cute.
You are so cool.
Zero.
Where are you from?
Venus Honolulu.
I love you.
Boo-boo.
Let's do sports.
So that is Carl. Kind of let you know a little bit about Carl is he does best in like a quiet room. So if you're like in a bigger room, he is not so great at responding to the commands. The other one is this little robot called Kodo. And Kodo has, so Carl, you don't have to touch the remote control that goes with him for him to respond to the voice commands. Kodo, you have to touch the remote where it says what you're going to talk to it. And so a partner would have to be putting the button and your AAC user would talk to them. So here's, let's see, I'm going to go right to the page.
It's scanning in row and column. So here are the things that he will do, and he will respond to a computer generated voice.
Handstand.
Let's watch Kodo do a few of his tricks. All right, here is Kodo, and here is the remote. So you have to have someone pressing down the talk button right here when you give a command. And I have my GoTalk page here, so let's try this one.
Handstand. Say hello.
So that's Kodo, another kind of fun social interaction one. Again, I got him from Amazon. These are 2 remote control transformer toys, and I got them on Sharper Image. It was like they came together as a set, and they were pretty inexpensive. And so a couple things to know: the race car does not require you to hold down a button on the remote control for the race car to do its thing. The fire truck does. So let's get to the part where they are, and I am
activity. They both
on this one. I am giving them the voice commands, but they do respond to computer generated voices. So let's see. Here's there.
The different commands that you can give the race car and the fire truck. The video of these, I'm just doing voice commands with my own voice. But you'll get a chance to see how fun and motivating this is for a student using Switch Access and learning to do something that's fun and purposeful and meaningful. Forward. Stop. Transform. Dance.
Dance.
So those are, you know, super, super fun. So anyway, the race car works better like in a classroom type of setting than like Carl or Kodo. So anyway, those are some things. You can buy the pouring devices to practice, you know, do switch activated pouring things. And at one of the, I think it was at ATIA, and one of the presenters talked about how to do a do-it-yourself pouring tool. Costs about $20. And what it is, I'll show you quickly. We won't watch the whole video. Let's see.
We have under $40. First, I've
So
got
what it is it's a jewelry. It's like a display spinner. And I mounted it. I mounted it on. I had a tripod that I mounted it to, and then I attached with Gorilla Glue or Velcro on top, and we did some acrylic pours and pouring, and so just some fun things you can do there. More pouring fun activities. These are some things that, again, Brenda and Melanie shared with me. They were making snow on this one. This video, they're baking, and just look at how fun this is.
Ooh. Oh, make it back too.
So this one is the flex mount that you can get, and it's about $240. And this is the regular stand one, and it's a little bit under $200. So depending on what if you're doing something kind of heavy duty, you know, that you're going to be moving a lot and doing a lot of things, you might want to invest in one of these, but you can also make just the inexpensive one to, as you can see, making snow. So super fun. In Arizona, where they are, they don't get much snow, so this was pretty exciting. All right, another thing that they did as well, and they had a lemonade stand, and so they were able to pour the lemonade into the glasses with the pouring tool. So you can, again, be as clever and as creative as you would like to be. The other tool that I think sits in our cupboards and is probably one of the most underused switch toys. So again, these are ones that are just, you plug in the switch and you go, is a spinner. And so they were having their big adaptive equipment giveaway the last weekend. And so here is this little gal.
Can you hit the switch and make
picking the winner.
She's mine. I did her training.
Yeah.
Because an amazing speech therapist referred her during birth to 3.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Good job.
Ah!
That's Sydney. It's Karen. Yes. Oh, hi. How are you?
Ellery wins.
So
Gonna do it?
whoops.
Gonna do it? Can you hit the switch and make the spinner?
All right, so super fun. This is another activity where Brenda had made jack-o'-lantern faces, and then the spinner would pick the face. So this is looking at a good 2-switch 2-function activity. And then she would draw the faces on the cups and then cut out the eyes or the nose or the mouth. And they used like baking soda and vinegar and food coloring to have the stuff go out we'll just show it. That'll be easier than me explaining it.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Your ghost is losing it. Whoa.
All right, so that's super fun. Other spinner ideas, we talked about assigning classroom jobs, board games. I was thinking about either if you had 2 spinners, you could do math facts, but you could even do it with just one. Is you could say you're doing 7 plus 1, all the way to 10, 9. You could have a spinner that might possibly have you could have one spinner that they activated and it hit like what number you were going to add to 7. And then the next spinner with the possible answers, and they could determine if the spinner got it right or not. So a different way of kind of looking at math. Or you could have the problem, 7 plus 5, and then have the other spinner. If you just have one spinner, have the spinner have the answer, and we could be like, did the spinner get it right? And another kind of fun way to kind of get some math information about their math knowledge without making it a test, that it's we're going to try to figure out if the spinner got it right. Book choices, if it's reading time and you've got like 6 books they can choose between, they can pick what book the spinner can use to pick the book. Independent writing, I think this would be really fun for some independent writing, where if you had a writing area and you and the student had come up with some different things that you were going to write about on a topic, and put them on the spinner, and then have the spinner randomly pick what they are and create this crazy random story. Doing some shared writing. If you're doing like predictable chart writing, you could have some of the options that the student might want to choose on there, and then the spinner could pick them. Picking the ingredients for a smoothie, choosing a color, really anything where you might have a choice. Those are great things to do with that. Other fun art activities, these are all hyperlinked to videos, are using switch adapted scissors, using the power link and an electric stapler to staple, spirograph art, walking animal art, trying to make those walking animals a little bit more exciting than just walking. So you could have a cup of paint and the walking animal walks up to it and tips it over onto the canvas. Or we would dip like the feet of the animals in, I've dipped those into paint and have them walk across the paper as well. Using a blow dryer to melt crayons, to do crayon art, using the pouring tools to do acrylic pours. We talked about spin art a little bit. And then, one of the things I always tell people is when you've got something that you're typically developing peers are doing, think about is there a way I could adapt this so that a switch user could do this? And so I love this quote. The first step to seeing with new eyes is letting go of the belief that the current reality is the only reality, that the current way of doing it is not the only way of doing it. And so you can, if you're really clever and creative, and hopefully these ideas will kind of get you started with some different ways that you can really include our switch users in all sorts of different activities. And then this is the link to the Special Education Technology Center, and we offer 3 webinars. They range from about 2 to 4 a week, and they're on all sorts of topics. This year I did a switch series, and so if you go here and then look at their YouTube channel, you can see any of those. But you are also welcome to join any of our free webinars. All right, and thanks for joining me today. I want to go ahead and these are the fairies near where I live. And I just want to open it up for any questions or ideas or comments that, we can, just feel free to kind of share out some things that you're going to try. Does anybody have anything that they're going to go try this week or next week? Or something they're going to pull out of the closet?
I know your central office SWAC team has been making lots of notes, and there will be some additions to the SWAC loan library.
Well, and if you have something that you do and it works really well and you're excited about it, please email and share it. And if the family will let you share a video, I mean, I think it's so much more powerful when you have a video of a student doing it. I do a lot of videos from the back of students' heads to try to get things so I can share things. So yeah, please share things with me. I love new ideas. And I hope, yeah, get the spinner out. That's kind of one of my goals for my teams is get the spinner out. I have not used switches with smart boards, but I bet there's somebody on here who possibly has. I know if you are using any of the switch access, if you're using, if you've got your switches hooked up to a computer, you can do some different, like, turning pages on Google Slides or some of the Help Kids Learn activities that you could project those up onto the smart board. Oh, someone asked my second item I'd have in my switch kit would be a proximity switch, because then anybody can activate it, regardless of how much movement you have. Oh, a switch accessible cash drawer. Jennifer, where do I find that? Oh, we can make it. There we go. Does it print money as well? Because then we can buy more switch things. Oh, definitely. If you can share the plans online, that would be awesome. I would love to see that.
Hi, Heidi. I believe Lindsay asked, what is your experience with individuals who are functionally blind and demonstrate sensory adverse behaviors and introducing them to switch access for communication and participation?
I think it's just, let me read that one again. Is it up here higher? So in the video of where the blow up yard decoration came out, the little boy who I was actually there doing it with, sitting in the back, is blind and mostly deaf, but can hear some, and is sensory adverse to everything. And so when we started that, it was just him and I and the teacher sitting right there, kind of explaining, what the scissors were going to look like, and like letting me run them, and then letting him have a turn, and letting him decide he wanted to touch the blow up animal. And at one point I put his hand on the blow up animal, and the teacher was like, oh, he doesn't like to touch anything. By the end of the session, he had that dog every time it would come up, and he'd give it a shake. And so I think it's just kind of slowly trying things and doing it in a way that's respectful to them, and just little by little trying some different things. Sometimes, like, people are really worried. I know one of our OTs was really worried about how noisy the scissors are, the switch adapted scissors. And a lot of times, or even like the musical instruments, my student in band, she's like, she startles all the time, but when they're in control of making the noise, a lot of times it's a lot better. But if they're, functionally blind, and you can just explain to them kind of what you're doing and put it there where they can touch it before it happens, I think that's, and it's just a slow, progression, and, but I believe they all can get there. You just have to respect where they are and gradually help move them forward. Lori, I'm glad you're leaving with so many new ideas. I leave everyone with new ideas as well. I'm gonna open this cash drawer thing, I think, if it'll let me. All right. That sounds super fun. I'm going to stop my share here. All right, that switch adapted cash drawer looks pretty sweet. Let's see, I'm going to share that screen so people can see that if they don't have it open. Oops. All right, so there is the switch adapted and all the directions for how to do that. That sounds really, really fun. Perfect. Oh, I didn't share, sorry. Can you see it here? All right, so yeah, and sometimes playing with the texture of the switch, sometimes a pillow switch or like a proximity switch sometimes is nice because they don't even have to touch it, they just have to get close. And so if you can explain to them, you just have to get close, we don't even have to touch it, if they don't like the touch of a switch. All right, other thoughts, ideas? Definitely saving the chat from this one to add to our list.
Any last questions?
I know it was rapid fire, but I'm hoping you all got something wonderful that you can use. And someone's adapting puppies so you can race. Also having like the puppies deliver messages, you know, like passing notes in school is, you know, forbidden, but if the puppy can pass a note, you know, that's kind of a fun thing to do.
All right. Well, we'll call it good. Can't thank you enough, Heidi, for being with us today. I think we're all leaving a little inspired and ready to get back to work tomorrow and try out some new ideas.
Great. And if you join a SETSI webinar that I'm teaching, let me know you were here. It's always kind of fun to see people who we've worked together before. So great ideas. Again, thank you so much for spending part of your time with me. I know your time is really valuable, so I really appreciate that.
You bet.